Thank you so much for the gifted sub again, man. Thank you for that. Sick. I kind of want to watch this. What dying on every drug feels like. All right, let's do this. Hold up.
The pencil incident. Shrooms are a natural psychedelic that cause hallucinations. About 30 minutes after eating them, colors get brighter, patterns start crawling on the walls, time stretches like taffy, and your sense of self begins to melt. Your brain is rushed into a state of euphoria, leaving you questioning what's real and what's not. But what happens when you take too much? On a calm Saturday afternoon, a 21-year-old Hispanic man would return home from work and consume it.
After this one, okay.
The consumption, he started experiencing a bad trip and begun acting erratically upon arriving to his house. His stepfather and brother would step in and restrain him to try to calm him down, but he'd break free of their grasp and also break a glass vase in the process.
Oh.
In his frenzied state, he'd then begin to rub himself against the glass shards on the floor and severely injure his arms and legs. His brother and stepfather would successfully intervene to stop him from injuring himself any further with the glass shards, and he'd be sat down at a desk. But shockingly enough, in a horrific act, he'd take a number 2 pencil that was laying on the desk, stand it upright,
No.
sharpened pencil.
Don't do drugs, kids.
When he raised his head, he'd reveal that he jabbed the
Oh my god. Why is it so
pencil
gruesome?
repeatedly into both of his eye sockets. He would stand up again to do something else, but quickly vomited on himself, leaving his family in a state of total panic. Emergency services were called, where they tried desperately to save the young man's life, but unfortunately, they would only get so far. Shrooms are one of the least toxic substances in the world. You'd need to eat dozens or even hundreds of grams to fatally overdose. But that doesn't mean people can't die from it. Most fatalities come from behavioral toxicity, panicking, jumping out windows, walking into traffic, or doing something fatal during a full-blown psychotic break. You won't pass away from the drug itself.
What is
You'll
wrong
pass away
with
from what it
this
does to your
guy?
mind. The Gator.
Okay. That was so that's the least intense one. The dude got high on shrooms and rubbed his face and arms in glass and then used the pencil to
Incident. Now let's talk about meth.
That's
When
insane,
it hits,
dude.
you feel invincible. This substance cranks up your sympathetic nervous
Meth.
system and causes an explosive release of dopamine in your body. Your heart starts racing, you become laser focused, and you'll be filled with unstoppable energy.
Yes, this is why people with ADHD take Vyvanse, because it's just meth. Did you know that if you take Vyvanse, it's just meth? Trust me, it's just meth. Okay?
The high can last 8 to 16 hours. No sleep, no food, just intense stimulation. And when you take too much, your body turns into an absolute war zone. On May 26th in Orlando, Florida, concerned bystanders would phone a call to
It would be in Orlando, Florida, where something happens with meth, dude.
police officers to let them know that there was a man on a racetrack shaking violently, asking to see his son. When police arrived, he was nowhere to be found, until suddenly he was located in a lake, full of alligators. Officers would try to throw the man a life vest, but he'd refuse it and would start getting attacked by the alligators in the water. And to officers' surprise, like it was a scene straight out of a horror movie, the man actually resurfaced out of the lake, covered in severe injuries and carrying gardening shears. He would charge at the officers in their car, and in response, they would tase him repeatedly, but it would have absolutely no effect. It was only when the man jumped into the passenger seat of the police cruiser and tried reaching for a rifle in the vehicle that officers finally used lethal force.
Dang!
Hijacks your brain's reward system and sends your
Oh
body
my
into overdrive.
God.
It burns out your dopamine.
My medication is meth. Bro, Vyvanse? Here, let's see. Like, they have some of the same chemicals, but if you look up, is Vyvanse meth? Of course, it's going to say no.
And disrupts your central nervous system so much that your body both loses touch with reality and can no longer regulate its temperature. Your organs can literally cook from the inside out and cause you to collapse. You can
53 Cam sub with the prime sub. Thank you so much.
have a heart attack.
Thank you so
or
much.
You could simply just go on a rampage and meet an early demise like this man. The 108th incident.
Well, guys, I'm getting, like, my mind is not working today. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting to stream the screen. I'm like watching. I watched literally like 4 minutes of a video and didn't stream it to y'all. I was just watching it and reacting. You know, we're just looking at my face.
Weed is by far one of the most commonly used substances in the United States.
Today, question mark.
Within minutes of
be
smoking,
real.
you're relaxed. Music sounds better.
That was
jokes
funny.
are funnier.
I like that, Austin.
And you get really, really hungry. You might feel euphoric, or anxious, or both. It depends on the strain, mood, and your brain chemistry. So what happens when you smoke too much of it? Well, here's the truth. You can't die from THC toxicity alone. There's no known lethal dose in humans. You'd have to smoke thousands of joints in a short time to even come close.
And it wouldn't even
But
be because of
that doesn't
THC.
mean
It would probably
it's
be because
harmless.
of lung failure.
In the spring of 2018, in
There was that one
California,
guy. You know, y'all know that one guy that what's his name? I can't remember his name, but he was like, "We're smoking big doinks." That guy. He's got a huge blunt on him. We're smoking big doinks. That guy died. He died from lung failure. His lungs collapsed. Let's keep going. Sorry.
woman who had just befriended a man at a dog park she frequently visited.
Completely missed this.
She
I'm sorry.
frequently visited
I had to
would
go
follow
back.
him home to his apartment for a quick spark-up session, which,
Fuck with
mind
it.
you, is totally legal in the state of California. After
Yep.
the two finished lighting up grass through a bong, the woman would unexpectedly shoot up from her seat straight to the kitchen and grab 3 knives.
Hey, could you come back with some chips?
What?
And maybe some ice cream?
That's me,
And maybe
bro.
some chicken Oh! Are you trying to chop up some salsa? I love salsa.
Jim, I'm not making salsa.
In just the blink of an eye, she would stab the man repeatedly non-stop 108 times. His body would be covered in marks from head to toe,
That shit was
and his
laced.
face would nearly be entirely carved out. Officers that arrived at the scene would find that she had also stabbed her dog, and shockingly enough, had stabbed herself 40 times, and was still in the process of doing it.
What?
They would quickly intervene and try to...
How the hell do you stab yourself 40 times without dying? With kitchen knives? You kidding me? Those are big as hell. No, that wasn't no Za he was chiefing on, bro. It was just possessed. Yeah, no, dude. There's no way. That shit does
physically
not
stop
happen.
her, but it wasn't enough. Officers would tase her 4 times to try to break her psychotic frenzy, but it would be to no avail. In order to get her to stop, one police officer had to swing a baton at her arm 9 times to break it, and finally she would release her grip from the knife. The man unfortunately didn't make it, but surprisingly, the woman did. And even more shockingly, she faced 0 prison time for her actions because it was proven in court that she experienced what is commonly known as cannabis-induced psychosis.
That's a real thing? Oh, wait, they have the freak. Sorry. I'm looking up the definition. They have it in the video. Some people who use marijuana may experience acute symptoms of psychosis, including paranoia, delusions, disorganized thinking, or even hallucinations. It is not very common, but cannabis-induced psychosis can be very serious and may need to be treated. Most cases of psychosis are related to cannabis, acute and temporary, but it's probably are acute. I don't know what that word is because it's cut off. But there are some troubling associations between marijuana use and the development or worsening of chronic psychosis conditions like schizophrenia. Treatment to help reduce cannabis use and to manage mental health symptoms can reverse psychosis and potentially prevent reoccurrence. So if you are schizophrenic and you smoke weed, you can go insane. You can go absolutely insane. So she's still out there? Yeah, it sounds
The woman
like it.
was very inexperienced when it came to smoking weed, and that
She probably
potentially played a huge
ripped
role
way
in
too
why
much,
she
man. You
experienced
can't
this
just
rare
just rip the bong
She
5
was placed
times
on
and
probation for
expect to
2
be
years
okay.
and was required to do 100 hours of community service.
What for 2 years?
She was placed on probation for 2 years.
She got probation for 2 years and did 100 hours of community service. That's what you get if you get a ticket. What? That's like you get a little ticket and you got to do that shit if you don't want to pay the ticket.
And was required to do 100 hours of community service. The man's family, especially his father, were extremely upset when they heard
Yeah,
it.
I'd be too.
Understandably so.
It should never have happened. She should have never have been allowed to walk free. She should have done some time. You know, you had a jury that convicted her, a unanimous conviction.
Yeah, that's
in
crazy,
less than
dude.
4
Because
hours. And the judge, when
she still killed
completely
someone,
against
and it
all
wasn't just
3 of
because
those
she was
entities
insane.
and
She
just
was
said,
like, she
"You're
smoked
free
the
to go."
weed, dude.
The stove. YouTube really didn't like the case on ecstasy that I found. So instead,
ecstasy.
we'll go over this situation where a 26-year-old martial arts fighter and his sparring partner consumed an unnatural amount of shrooms while in their apartment. Initially, everything was fine, until they became convinced that the world was coming to an end and that the two were fighting a battle of life and death between God and the devil.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
The two would begin their legendary battle, and finally when the struggle finished, their friend would walk into their apartment room only to find the martial arts fighter standing butt naked in the kitchen cooking his friend's heart and remains in a stove.
His friend's heart?
The victim would be found laying on the couch, missing his face, tongue, and heart. And sadly, the autopsy revealed that he was alive when his chest was ripped open and his heart was taken out. The martial arts fighter wouldn't be as lucky as the woman in our last case. He'd be formally charged and sentenced to 47 years in state prison for what he did to his friend.
Yeah, good. He was cooking his friend's heart. That's insane.
Now, this probably makes the US legal system come off as a little hypocritical, considering that in the other case, the woman was allowed to blame psychosis for her actions and be cleared of any severe wrongdoing, whereas in this case, the fighter's state of influence was ignored and he was directly sentenced. But honestly, that's your opinion to make. When it comes to overdosing on psilocybin, you'll find that it rarely ever ends you through toxicity alone.
Damn.
You'll need to eat an absurd amount for that to actually happen. The real danger
Isn't
is
it surrounded by
psychosis.
ribs? Like, yeah, like what? So they were like martial arts. Did this dude like? No, what did this guy do? You. Mortal Kombat. That's like a Mortal Kombat ender right there. Finish him. Damn, that was crazy. Was that sound effect good? I feel like that sound effect was good as shit. It sounded good in my head. Yeah? Okay, cool. Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad.
Panic and delusion. Once you compromise the healthiness and security of your mind for a quick burst of excitement, you'll find that that's where things go haywire. So in other words, don't do drugs.
Yep. That is a good way to end that video. Don't do drugs, kids.